A sustainable future requires sustainable alternatives to products made from non-renewable raw materials. Metsä Group is a forerunner in sustainable bioeconomy, utilizing renewable wood from sustainably managed northern forests. Wood-based textile fibre may replace current commercial textile fibres, oil-based, cotton and viscose, as a more environmentally friendly option with a potentially more energy-efficient production process as well.
The fashion and textile industry is far from being sustainable. The raw materials, for example, are mostly fossil-based. What kind of role might bioeconomy play in changing the current state of things?
Well, we do have already today textile fibers produced from wood and other bio-based materials, and the share of these could grow in the future and thus have an impact on the whole market.
But there has always been, like at least for 100 years, these biofibers. But what's the difference in these new technologies that you're developing?
Well, it's correct. We have had bio-based, wood-based fibers on the market for over 100 years. But unfortunately, they are not so sustainable. And if we want to grow the wood-based business, we need to find new technologies which are much more sustainable.
What is the problem in sustainability in these old technologies?
Sustainability in our world is divided into three different categories. You have the well-known ecological sustainability, you have the social sustainability, and then the economical sustainability. So we always balance these three pillars because they are not always easy to fit into the same direction. And you need to understand that each of these are important. The most used technology is called the viscose process, and in the viscose process you are using a chemical which then results in toxic compounds, and this is an issue for the workers in the factory and also for the environment outside the factory.
And what is the new solution then?
Well, to use chemicals which are not toxic, for instance, or even then producing the textile fiber without any chemicals.
And this has never been done on industrial scale.
Well, the new chemicals which we are studying is completely new. We have a unique chemical which is a very good solvent of cellulose, and we are currently trying to demonstrate this new technology in a pilot plant.
And in this pilot plant, it's a huge investment, 40 million euros. What kind of process in deciding to build that did you have? Because obviously it's a huge risk.
Well, we were contemplating if we have enough information to go directly to a full-scale factory. And quite soon we came to the conclusion that no, we do not have the necessary information. We need to build this kind of a intermediate mini factory. And this is what we are now building in Äänekoski, and we are almost ready to start up the plant.
What kind of technical, scientific, and also industrial process problems are you expecting?
Well, with new technologies, you always have issues and small fires to solve. In addition to that, we of course don't know what the market will think about the fiber. Although it's close to the existing ones, we still need to see the reaction by the customers. And a third interesting area is to see if we can find workers who can manage to operate this kind of a production plant. This is unique globally, but also, of course, then unique in Finland.
And this is a joint venture now with the Japanese manufacturer, textile manufacturer.
Yes, in the textile fiber development project, and especially now when we decided to move to a demonstration project, it was clear for us that we need help in understanding the market, and we were lucky to find the Itochu Corporation, who is a well-known actor in the textile market, and they are now our partner in building and operating this pilot plant.
You mentioned that it's different to create something in laboratory settings and then bring it into industrial scale. How long did this project took from laboratory to this plant?
Well, in the textile fiber case, the first studies were done in 2009. We were starting up a big program in Finland, and within that program, one of the sub-projects was new solvents for cellulose dissolution. So it's already 10 years past, and we are still not on the market with the product. So in bioeconomy, the development path is very long.
Metsä Spring is the venture capital arm of Metsä Group. What kind of projections do you see to the future in this sector? What are your expectations of the future, and what kind of innovations are you looking at currently?
Well, we see our operations as part of a larger business ecosystem. Metsä Group has a central role in the ecosystem, but the ecosystem is much more than just Metsä Group. And if we want to utilize the wood very efficiently, we need help. We cannot do all the processing and all the marketing and sales within Metsä Group to utilize all the bits and pieces of the wood efficiently. So we need other companies who uses our side streams as their raw materials and so on. So Metsä Spring is in a way a tool to find these new business ideas, how you can develop the business ecosystem around Metsä Group.
Well, it is very interesting. How do you turn wood into fabric?
Well, the first step is to have wood which you are converting into chips, and then this chip is converted into pulp. This is very well known in Finland, the pulping industry, and the Metsä Group is a big player in this market. The pulp is then converted into a staple fiber, and the staple fiber in practice looks like this. In the next stage, the staple fiber is then converted into yarn, and that is typically then a new factory. And again, you go to the next factory where the yarn is converted into a fabric. And finally, the fabric is converted into a garment, like this T-shirt here.
And that material is very close to cotton.
That's true. This is cut to the same length as cotton, so that you can use the same processing equipment as you are using for cotton. When you are producing in the factory this material, it's actually first a long filament, a continuous filament, but at the later stage in that process you are then cutting it into the 4 centimeter length to mimic the cotton fiber.
And what about from the textile or fashion industry? What has been the first reactions to that material?
Well, in the textile industry, there is big pressure to find more sustainable raw materials and more sustainable ways to produce clothing. And of course, recycling is one of the big issues which need to be developed significantly in the textile industry. But they are naturally also interested in more sustainable production technologies of their key raw material, like the one we are producing here or developing here. And within the wood-based textile fibers, you have good ways of producing fibers and bad ways, and unfortunately only 1/3 is assessed to be sustainable within the wood-based textile fibers. So you have these different reasons why new technologies are so interesting, and also why we are looking into this area.
What kind of properties they are asking from you, from the fabric and from the materials?
Well, in our way of thinking, we first need to come to the same level as the existing materials. But the big difference is that we make it much more sustainable. That is the key, what the brand owners in the textile industry is really looking for. More sustainable ways of producing the raw material. Well, I think giving a prize to or highlighting innovation is very important. It's what we are doing also, and we were very glad to promote the Millennium Technology Prize this year.